All right, let's dive in. Today we are tackling a huge question, one that a lot of people are asking. Can CBD actually help with anxiety? There's so much buzz out there, so we're going to cut through all the noise, break down the latest research, and even look at some real-world user tests. Let's get into it.
So, to really get why this is such a massive conversation, you have to understand the scale of the problem. Anxiety isn't a small issue. It's the most common mental health condition in the US. Think about this. Nearly one-third of all adults will experience an anxiety disorder at some point. That's a truly staggering number. And that number brings us right here to the central question. You've got millions of people looking for some kind of relief, and CBD has popped up everywhere as this popular, easy-to-get option. But is it a genuinely viable solution? That's what we're here to figure out. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll touch on the sheer scale of anxiety. Then, we'll dig into the science to try and separate the real hope from the hype. After that, we're looking at real-world product tests, walking through a practical user guide, and we'll finish up with the crucial stuff you absolutely need to know before you even think about trying it. Okay, so first up, the rise of anxiety. And like we said, this isn't some niche issue. We're talking about the single most common mental health condition in the entire country. That fact alone makes the search for effective treatments incredibly urgent. That brings us to section 2. CBD, hope or hype? You see all the marketing claims, right? That's why it's so important to ignore the noise and look at what the actual scientific studies have to say. And some of the early research is genuinely promising. A 2019 study found that a whopping 78% of people in the trial said their anxiety symptoms got better. Then a big review in 2020 found evidence supporting CBD for a few different anxiety disorders. And another study found users just reported a better quality of life overall. But, and this is a huge but, here's the catch. While those results sound great, the studies used a massive variation in doses. I'm talking from as little as 6 milligrams all the way up to 400. That huge range means we just don't have the big, high-quality trials needed to create any kind of standardized dosing guidelines. And that's a major gap. So, with the science being sort of promising but definitely incomplete, let's move from the lab into real life. What actually happens when people try these products? Well, our source material had testers check out some of the most popular options on the market. First on the list, the CBDFX gummies. This is a full-spectrum product, which means it has other compounds from the cannabis plant, including a very, very small amount of THC. And it comes in a few different strengths. And this quote really highlights a key benefit a lot of people are looking for. The tester took a 50 milligram dose and found it eased her afternoon anxiety in less than an hour. And here's the important part. It didn't make her drowsy. She could just get on with her day. Next up, a product that's aimed a little more at sleep. Sunday Scaries. These are also full-spectrum gummies, but they're really marketed for that end-of-the-weekend stress that can keep you staring at the ceiling. Now, this experience was pretty powerful. The tester, Naomi, went in as a skeptic, but she said the gummies made her very sleepy within only 15 minutes. But she also pointed out a really key limitation. Fantastic for getting to sleep, but not so great for staying asleep all night. That's a super honest and useful distinction. Okay, now for something totally different. This is a topical, a bath bomb infused with CBD. And this one uses CBD isolate. Isolate just means it's the pure form of CBD with zero THC or other cannabis compounds. And the effect was pretty direct. The tester said she felt relaxed immediately and that it even helped with some knee pain. But she had a practical problem. It left a bunch of residue in the tub. A good reminder that the whole experience actually matters. So with these real-world experiences in our back pocket, let's jump into our practical guide. If you're thinking about trying CBD, what do you really need to know to find your way through this super crowded market? First things first, let's nail this key difference. Full-spectrum products have a mix of cannabis compounds, including that tiny bit of THC. The idea is that they all work together in what's called an entourage effect. On the flip side, CBD isolate is just that, pure isolated CBD, nothing else. It's a good choice if you want to be 100% sure you're avoiding THC. So, the million-dollar question, how much do you take? Well, since there are no official guidelines, the universal advice is this mantra, start low and go slow. A common starting point is somewhere around 20 to 50 milligrams a day. From there, you just pay attention, see how your body feels, and only slowly increase it if you need to. It's really a process of personal calibration. Okay, we've made it to our final section. And honestly, this might be the most important part of the whole conversation.
what you need to know before you try anything. Think of this as the essential safety briefing.
And we have to lead with the single most critical piece of advice, and this comes straight from a pharmacist. You have to talk to your doctor. Your primary care provider knows your health history, they know what other medications you're on, and they can help you figure out if CBD is actually a safe option for you.
Now, for some really crucial fine print, the FDA does not regulate CBD for anxiety. That means the quality of products and the accuracy of the dosage on the label can be all over the place. On top of that, it can interact with other medications. And don't forget, those full-spectrum products do have trace amounts of THC, which could potentially lead to a positive drug test. And then, of course, there's the legal question. While CBD that comes from hemp with less than 0.3% THC is legal at the federal level, your state might have different laws. So you always have to check the specific rules where you live. So all of this, the promising but evolving research, the real-world tests, the unregulated market, it brings us to a final thought. The focus probably shouldn't be on which brand is the best one to buy. The real, most important question is much more personal. Is this right for me? And really, there's only one way to truly answer that question safely and effectively, and that is by having a good, honest conversation with your healthcare provider. Without a doubt, that is the best and most responsible next step you can take.